Now let us talk about the software process improvement. We have talked about the software processes. That means, in some way it is related to software development life cycle also. But now what makes the thing different and important is that these processes needs to be improved. And if they are not improved, if you are able to understand the various models, so we have CMMI model, SCI CMM model. Now the highest model, it says that the process are always improved. So it is always a requirement and always an intent of the organization or the companies or the customers that the software processes should be improved every time. So what is SPI or this software process improvement? This SPI implies that the elements of an effective software process can be defined in certain effective manner. An existing organizational approach to the development of software that can be assessed, this is important, against those elements, and a meaningful strategy for improvement can be defined. You're not only talking about following the processes, now you are interested in improving the strategy, the improvement of the processes. So this SPI strategy transforms the existing approach to software development into something that is more focused, more repeatable, and more reliable. And that too in terms of the quality of the product produced and the timelines of the or timeliness of the delivery. So it is more focused, more repeatable, and more reliable. This SPI framework, these are having the set of characteristics that must be present if an effective software process is to be achieved. Then a method of assessing whether those characteristics are present, and the mechanism for summarizing the results for any assessment, and the strategy of assisting a software organization in implementing those characteristics or process characteristics that have been found to be weak or missing. So this SPI framework assesses the maturity, as I was speaking about CMMI, that is the maturity model. So the SPI framework assesses the maturity of the organization's software processes and provides a qualitative indication of the maturity level. So the elements of SPI framework can be summarized as: you have a software process here, and then there is an assessment of the software process. So software process is examined by certain assessment strategy or assessment organization or individuals. Then this assessment will lead to improvement strategy or will lead to capability determination. So this capability determination is a foundation for the improvement strategy, and the improvement strategy, it identifies change to suggest improvement approach for the software process, and the capability information, it identifies the capability, strength, and weaknesses of and the identification of maturity of the software process. The constituencies or constituents in these software process improvement aspects, we have quality certifiers, the quality of process, and of course the product, and the formalists, the advocates, tool advocates, the practitioners, the reformers, the ideologists. All of them are some or the way other way they are involved in the software process improvement. Then we come to the maturity model. What is the maturity model? Say if there is a kid, he is just born. So if a 5-year kid does something, we say he is not mature enough. But a 19-year-old, because he has crossed 18, he is now adult. So if a 19 or 25 years of age, a person does something, then you cannot say he is not mature enough because he has matured. And if a person who is 50 years of age, and if he does something equivalent to 19 years of age, then we say no, this guy has not matured at all. He still needs to be matured. And at 50 or after 40 or say 35 only, we think that an individual should be mature. Okay, this is a general life cycle of a human being. What about the maturity models in the software? The maturity model is applied within the context of a SPI, software process improvement framework. What is the intent? The intent of the maturity model is to give or provide an overall indication of the process maturity. The maturity which is exhibited by the software organization. So software organization will present or will show certain maturity, and that is the process maturity. So an indication of the quality of the software process. Indication of the quality of the software process, the degree to which practitioners understand and apply the process, and the general state of software engineering practice. These are maturity models. So now one question comes into our mind: is this SPI or software process improvement is for everyone? That means, can a small company initiate SPI activities and do it successfully? And the answer is yes. Why not? Each and every one, even a person who is supposed to have a company, is an individual, single person. He also can think of the SPI. So it should come as no surprise that these small organizations are more informal, and they apply fewer standard practices, and they tend to be self-organizing. So in this case, the SPI will be approved and implemented only after its proponents demonstrate the financial leverage. This is also a case. So in the SPI or software process improvement processes, we start with the assessment and gap analysis. So what is this assessment and what is the gap analysis? What gap we are talking about? So assessment will examine a wide range of actions and tasks that will lead to the high quality process. So what are the tasks? What are the actions that will lead to the high quality process? It includes the consistency, the sophistication, the acceptance, and the commitment. The consistency. These are important activities. Actions and tasks applied consistently across all software projects and by all software teams. Consistency. What about sophistication? This means our management and technical actions performed with a level of sophistication that implies through understanding a best practice. Acceptance means, is the software process or software engineering practice widely accepted by the management and technical staff? This is acceptance. And the commitment means, has management committed the resources required to achieve the consistency, the sophistication, and acceptance? This comes under the assessment, in which will examine the wide range of actions and tasks that will lead to a high quality process. So assessment, once it is done, we go for the gap analysis. The difference between the local application and the best practice represents a gap that offers opportunities for improvement. So this is the difference. Okay, what is done and what should be done. The gap between these two. Then comes the education and training. So three types of education and training should be conducted: the generic concepts and method, the specific technology and tools, and the business communication and quality related topics. In the generic concepts and method, these are directed towards both managers and practitioners. So this category would stress upon the processes and practices. And the intent is to provide the professionals with certain intellectual tools that need to apply or need to be applied to the software process effectively and make the rational decision about improvements to the process. The specific technology and tools means they are directed primarily towards the practitioners. So this category stresses the technologies and tools that have been adopted for local use. For instance, if UML has been chosen for analysis and design modeling, a training curriculum for software engineering using this unified modeling language would be established. In the business communication and quality related topics, these are directed towards stakeholders. This category focuses on the soft topic that help enable the better communication among the stakeholders and also foster a greater quality focus. This is the business communication and quality related topics. Then comes in the SPI process, we have learned about the gap analysis, the education training, and now the selection and justification. Means here we choose the process model that fits or that best fits your organization, its stakeholders, and the software that you are going to build. And then we decide on the set of framework activities that will be applied, the major work product that will be produced, and the quality assurance checkpoints. This is very important. That will enable your team to assess the progress. And then we develop a work breakdown for each framework activity. For example, modeling, defining the task set that would be applied for a typical project. And once a choice is made, the time, money must be expended to install it within an organization. And these resource expenditures should be justified. Then we come to the installation migration. What happens actually? The software process redesign, SPR, these activities, Skashi state that he has his observation that SPR or software process design is concerned with identification, application, and refinement of new ways to dramatically improve and transform software processes. So three different processes models can be considered: the existing as is process, the transitional here to there process, and the target to be process. Then comes the evaluation. Here, the in this case we assess the degree to which the change have been instantiated and adopted, the degree to which such changes they result in better software quality or other tangible process benefit, and the overall status of the process and the organization culture as SPI activities would proceed. And also from a quantitative point of view, the previous or past management and practitioner attitudes about the software process can easily be compared to the attitudes polled after installation of process changes. Then comes the risk management for SPI. What do we mean by risk management for SPI? So whenever we are talking about the risk management for SPI, we manage risk at three key points in the SPI process. First, prior to the initiation of SPI roadmap and during the execution of SPI activities, as we have just seen, the assessment, the education, the selection and installation, and then during the evaluation activity that follows the instantiation of some process characteristics. And in general, we have certain categories that can be identified for the SPI software process improvement risk factors. This can be the budget and the cost, the content and deliverables culture, the maintenance of SPI deliverables, the mission and goals, the organizational management and organizational stability, the process stakeholders, the schedule for SPI development, the SPI development environment and process, and the SPI project management and SPI staff. And there are certain critical success factors also. And there are 5 CSFs, critical success factor. First is the management commitment and support. It has to be there. And the staff needs to be involved. Staff involvement is important. Then the process needs to be understood and integrated. And there has to be a customized SPI strategy. This also becomes very important. In the CMMI, as we were discussing about CMMI, the comprehensive process metadata, the CMMI stands for Capability Maturity Model Integrated. So the comprehensive process meta model that is predicted on a set of systems and software engineering capabilities that should be present as organization reach different level of process capability and maturity. So this process meta model in two different ways we can understand it: as a continuous model or as a staged model. So the process meta model CMMI can be understood to be of two types: the continuous and the stage model. And this defines each process area in terms of specific goals and the specific practices which are required to achieve these goals. In specific goals, they establish the characteristics that must exist if the activities implied by a process area are to be effective, and specific practices, we refine a goal into a set of process related activities. In the People CMM, the roadmap for implementing workforce practices that continuously improve the capability of organization workforce, and this defines a set of 5 organizational maturity levels that provide an indication of relative sophistication of workforce practices and processes. So this is, let me tell you the different levels. First is level 0, and we also know it by level 0I, incomplete, as initial. So in this, the process area, that is the requirement management, is either not performed or do not achieve all the goals and objectives defined by the CMMI for level 1 capability for the process area. The second is performed, or you can say repeatable. Okay, so performed, all the specific goals of process area as defined by the CMMI have been satisfied. So these things are satisfied, and work tasks required to produce defined work product are being conducted. So they are conducted, but at the project level. Please understand, these are done only at the project level, not on the organization level, not which is contained by the organization, only to the project level. So once project is complete, this can be applied to the another project, but not from the centralized government or the main organization they are coming. So the level 2 is managed now. This is we can also know it as managed. So all capability of level 1 criteria has been satisfied. In addition, all work associated with the process area conforms to an organizational defined policy. This is important. Now they are organizational defined. All the keep the process area conforms to the organizational defined policy, and all people doing the work have access to the adequate resources to get the job done, and the stakeholders are actively involved in the process area they are required, and all the work tasks and work products are monitored and controlled and reviewed and are evaluated for adherence to the process description. This is level 2. Level 3. What is this? Defined. All capability which level 2 criteria have been achieved. In addition, the process is tailored for the organization set of standard process according to the organization tailoring guidelines and contributes work products, measures and other process improvement information to the organization process asset. Then the quantitatively managed. All capabilities level 3 criteria have been achieved like this. And in addition to this, this process area is controlled and improved using measurement and quantitative assessment. So this can be statistical also. And the quantitative objectives for quality and process performance are established and used as criteria in managing the process. Once it comes to the final optimized, all capability level or all capability level 4 criteria have been achieved. And in addition to that, the process area is adapted and optimized using the quantitative or statistical means to meet changing customer requirement and continuously improve SPI, software process improvement, the efficacy of the process area under consideration. These are the different CMI process area capability profile. These are the capability level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have these project planning, requirement management, the measurement and analysis, the configuration management, the PPQA, process and product QA, like this. These are the different levels, and the focus is on which key areas. So, for example, in the initial, we have inconsistent practices managed. We have repeatable, basic people management practices defined. We have to the organization level, these are transferred, and predictable means quantifiability, monitoring and control, and optimized means actual improvement. These are all the process area which we deal with this IMD PO. There are other SPI frameworks also, like SPICE. What is this SPICE? This SPICE is an international initiative to support the international standard that is ISO IEC 15504 for the process improvement. The Bootstrap is also there. This is again a SPI framework for small and medium size organization that conforms to SPICE. And the PSP and TSP, individual and team specific SPI frameworks that focus on process in the small or more rigorous approach to software development, coupled with the measurement and TIC-IT. This is an auditing method to assess an organization compliance to ISO standard. Now we have ISO 9001 2015. Okay. The SPI returns on investment, what does it mean? How do I know that we will achieve a reasonable return for the money we are spending? So that is given easily by the cost benefit analysis. These are the benefit or the cost. These are the two values which take a subtraction and divided by the cost, and easily we can use it to find out the ROI, that is return of investment. So what this benefit means is this benefit includes the cost saving associated with the higher product value, that is fewer defects, less reward, reduced effort associated with the changes, and the income that occurs from short time to market. And the cost, this includes both direct SPI cost, training and measurement, and indirect costs associated with greater emphasis on quality control and change management activities, and more rigorous application of software engineering method, that is the creation of the design model. And now the SPI trends, this future of SPI framework must become significantly more agile now. Okay. Rather than on organizational focus, we are considering that may take years to complete. Contemporary SPI efforts should focus on project level, and to achieve the meaningful results even at the project level in a short time frame, complex framework models may give way to simpler models. And rather than dozens of key practices and hundreds of supplementary practice, an agile SPI framework should emphasize only on a few pivotal practices. So this was about software process improvement. Thank you so much.